Welcome back to Rad Rat Video. Today we're doing something a little bit weird. I wanted to watch my old DVD called The Antidote that I made with my friend Tony in 2006. Most of this video has never been seen. My video part, and I think his too, were on YouTube. I think they probably got taken down for copyright for the songs. Like back in the day, you could do anything you wanted and it was fine. And then as time went on, they eventually started taking down old stuff. But anyway, most of this video has not been seen other than by a few friends, and Tony and I were the only people that we knew who skated, so it was seen by people who don't really care. So I thought I would watch this, and because it's all copyright music the whole way through, I can't just upload it plain, so I might as well watch it with you and do a reaction to it. But yeah, this is the cover. We made a second video which is a lot more advanced in the design, but so because Tony's a lot bigger, I made my name bigger to try to keep the balance on it, which was pretty cool. That's what the back is. It says, after a year of production, The Antidote is finally released, jam-packed with uncensored bonus features. There are bonus features. There is nothing to be censored, but I'll probably show you some of those too. But yeah, let's jump right into the video. Okay, here we are in the menu. It's me doing a truck stand on, I think it was like an extra dresser that was just thrown in the backyard or something. I have a Trans World skateboarding shirt on. I think that was the only legit skateboard shirt that I had. So I wanted to use that for this amazing photo shoot I did with a tripod alone in my backyard. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so HNL Videos, or HNL Productions, that we use sometimes, stood for A Whole Nother Level, which was a SNL skit, I think, or one of those sketch shows. I don't remember which one, but yeah, Whole Nother Level. So this part was really cool. So if you could hear the music that's doing this cool, it's Jimi Hendrix, Voodoo something or other. I don't remember what the song was, but there's like this cool guitar riff intro, and like every time it starts over, we show a new trick. Yeah, can't show that to you. This goes perfectly with the music too when it goes pew. But so yeah, we filmed this. Oh yeah, I had a Plan B sweater. Oh, I remember that sweater. So I had it was this cool Plan B hoodie, and it was the only article of clothing that I remember ever buying for full price. I would always buy all my clothes at Kohl's on clearance, or at least my mom would. I was like 17, I think, when I made this. Yeah, so I had this Plan B sweater, and it disappeared at some point. I have no idea where it went. I don't know where it could have gotten lost or anything, but it just suddenly never came back from the wash one time, and I was devastated. But yeah, the half cab impossible. Pretty cool trick. This was a friend's graduation party. So Tony, who's the other part in this video, I think this was his brother's graduation party, and I just got a new camera and we were screwing around with it. So half of the footage is super terrible, like this shot, from a quality perspective, shot on tape, and I got a digital, it was still standard def, but a digital camera partway through this year. You know, that cool board slide, that was a nollie shove it underflip, which was pretty cool. Some of the tricks in here I think will probably be okay still, but a lot of it really sucks. This spot was pretty cool. There was not a lot of street in town. There was that, which we skated like a bank, but it was just kind of a mild angle. But yeah, there is barely any street in the town where I grew up and where Tony grew up, which was like 10 miles apart or so. But cool inward heel flip. I can't do those now. I tried to do an inward heel flip recently. I was going to do a trick tip, and I was like, hey, let me dig out some old tricks I used to do. Actually, it might have been the second video that I do a couple of them in, and it was just really easy for me at the time. I tried to dig that one back out, and I just couldn't do it anymore, which kind of sucked. This was 14 years ago. Okay, the reenactment. So I broke my ankle. I was trying to ollie over a curb, so it was like the whole sidewalk, starting from the pavement over the sidewalk and back onto pavement on the other side, and I landed with the edge of my foot on the corner of the curb, and then it bent all the way over, then my ankle, like a curb like that, so my ankle hit the ground while my top of my foot was still on top of the curb. Like it sprained it really, really bad. Doctor said if it had broken, he could have set it and then it would have healed in place, but instead it just had to slowly heal back. So that was like my first kickflip, after my ankle was down. So I was doing all that foot plant stuff because I couldn't use my ankle. And that was like when my ankle was officially back in business. Impossible to cross foot, half cab impossible, kind of. I technically rolled away forward. Nose blunt, which was a pretty tough trick for me. A switch pressure hard flip. I do almost no switch. That wasn't easier for me. I don't remember why I did it switch. There was like a online game of skate I was playing. Some of these tricks that are just like one trick flat ground in my driveway, some of those were for a game of skate online on the Skateboard UK forum, I believe. I was part of several forums at the time, and I would do this kind of stuff, and it was kind of fun. My first flip in, flip out, unless you count this one, of course, which was also me. I invented this trick. Toe side rail, semi flip out. I got a trophy from the World Freestyle Association for Best New Trick of 2006. And so here's Tony. But yeah, I got this trophy. It was like this big wooden, it was like a Hawaiian-style tribal statue thing that they put on a skateboard. Like, they put a lot of effort into this trophy that I got. Are you really that surprised when a skateboard comes flying? I mean, you're at the bottom of a bowl. So I think Tony's part, if I'm being honest, holds up a little better than mine because he would actually do stuff with speed and just normal tricks. And my part was more like just trying to be weird, I think. Like trying to do things that are different so that I didn't have to compete with what everyone else was doing. He's not talking there. I mean, he is, but there's like the sound is turned down so you can't hear what he's saying. But he's just trying to act like doesn't notice that he's bleeding profusely. Tony was always really good at stuff like that, like the big spin or the boneless 360 with a 360 varial while he was doing it. It's pretty cool. That skate park really sucked. So I remember it costs like 40 grand. There was big fundraisers and all this kind of stuff. And they just put all these ramps in an old tennis court. And like all the speed ramps to get at that fun box in the middle were too low. Like for him to do a 50-50 on that was actually really hard because you have to pump as hard as you can just to get to the top. Like they just put in ramps that were all the same height, which makes sense on paper. Here's another angle at it. Like imagine trying to drop into that and then grind on the ledge. It was really hard. So like he has a couple of tricks there. I think I did a calf wrap over that hip. I don't remember if that was in my part here, if I did that some other time, but it was just so hard to skate that. So we ended up not really going there too much. I remember that line. I think he just had his shoelaces untied because he thought it would look cool in slow motion, and then it just didn't. So this was a much better skate park called Landslide, and it was pretty far away. It was almost an hour drive probably for us to get all the way down there. So we didn't get there too often. So I was 17, he was 16 when we filmed this. Or no, when it came out. So I was probably 16 for most of the filming. I didn't get my license until I was 17, actually. So we were still relying on, like my mom worked near his house. So she would drop me off in the summer and we'd skate together all day, like that type of thing, for a lot of this video. Sorry, that was me. Don't check your phone. That was me. Oh yeah. So there is there's a bonus feature. I think I'll show it. We'll get there. But there was a day where we just saw like girls everywhere we went, and it was pretty amazing. Yeah. So Tony always did stuff that was like bigger and faster than me, but his tricks were always simpler. And I just think it holds up better because in some of my stuff you can tell I'm just barely rolling. Or I'll in my half cab impossible, I landed sideways and I just still rolled away because I was going so slow that it didn't throw me off. Oh, watch this. Yeah, that was my favorite trick. So he does a nose slide on that, which is kind of a nose blunt because it's at an angle, and he just slid it out and it was perfect. So I did a board slide on that and it was much worse. But yeah, this was by his house. My house, you've seen plenty in that. I had the ramp in the backyard, and and just a driveway and a dirt road, and then farms everywhere. He lived in a little subdivision condo complex type of place. And that curb right there, we waxed that up and we skated it for years. And now if you go back there, I drove through there a couple years ago, I think I was there, and it has gone back to nature. Like, you can't tell that we used to skate it. I don't think they painted on top. They might have repainted the end, where it was yellow, but even the concrete part, I don't think they repaved it. It doesn't look new, but it doesn't look waxed now. It's so weird. It's like it all washed away over the years. But yeah, we didn't skate this for a long time. He still lives nearby, but yeah, it's just a curb, so not that big of a deal. So yeah, Tony's part, I think, he's got a lot more speed and he's doing a lot more stuff. There's a couple of tricks that he does in this part that I think are legitimately really good. I think he was going to go for a 50-50 there, then decided not to. But yeah, like I never skated drops at all. And then here he goes with his half cab heel flip. Good catch on it. I was always really impressed by that trick. So there's some swelling music here. There's kind of like a not somber, but like a slower, kind of more mellow. It's like the slow-mo part type of music going right now. This is the road where I used to live. In the summer, that is like pitch black because the trees grow together and it's like one big tree tunnel, which was pretty cool. But that was the route that I would take to go to his house. So this is my chiropractor, her office. She was kind of a quack. Oh, here's the whole point of his shoes being untied was to show it in slow-mo, but it just gets choppy, so it doesn't look all that good. But yeah, I went to that weird the chiropractor there, and she had some stuff where she would like test how strong your muscles were while you were holding a bottle of supplements to see whether your body was asking for it or not. It was super weird. But yeah, there's that half cab heel again. So the thing about Tony is he would just try something, and like if it worked or not, who cares? He just didn't care if he got hurt or anything like that. Me, I would have to work up to that. So if I were to try a half cab heel flip, and I couldn't do those like that, I had done some on flat, but I would never try that trick. But I would work up. I would do a half cab. I would try to do like a kick flip, and then maybe I would try it. He would just go for stuff like that, a double kick flip in a. Was that the vert? I think that was the vert ramp. He didn't get that high in it, but still. So, yep, this takes me back. What is next? Okay, so this is the actual like slow-mo cool credits part. Is a crossfoot nose Casper to rail, which is a Rodney Mullen staple. He does that a lot. If you watch some of his videos, like there's a line that he does a lot. Or no, it was in was it round 3? Or no, it was Globe Opinion. He does a crossfoot nose Casper like that, and I thought I would do that, but I wanted to add on to it, make it into a combo. Yeah, there's a nearby baseball diamond. There was some shots, like there's a shot where he does a boneless 360 varial flip, and I had to climb up on top of something to shoot that. He climbed up on there to do this shot. Yeah, and then oh yeah, he does cut back. So like that doesn't look like much of a hill, but you do get some speed going while you're ride down that. And I don't remember why some of that. Oh, I might not have landed that combo, so I just threw it in the credits. That was our friend Jordan. So yeah, there's the credits. Here's all the music that you missed. That the song that we played in the intro was so good with the way that we edited everything together. It was pretty cool. And then a lot of 2006 appropriate type of stuff. Yeah, so this is the end of the video. Tony thanks his boy Aaron for those long hours filming, and I just thank our legions of adoring fans worldwide. And there is a reason. So like with this video, so he's being attacked by bees. Since you can't hear that, but the reason why I was thanking all of our fans is because Tony's aunt and uncle, they had friends all over the country and in Canada too. And so this was our second video technically, but our first one is like an hour long, and we're like really young and just making stupid stuff. So I'm not going to show that one. But they sent that to people. Well, they didn't send it to anybody. They told their friends to act like they had seen it. To act like they had seen it and to send us postcards to say how good it was. Because that one came out in 2005. So, there was no YouTube. YouTube did start in 2005, but let's see what bonus features we're working with here. So we ended up getting postcards from all over the country saying how amazing it was. So I'm talking about our legions of adoring fans. None of them actually saw the video, and none of our friends skated, so no one really cared. But, this was before I had a YouTube channel or anything. But, okay, let's watch My December. So this is to the song My December from Linkin Park. And it actually works really well with this because he is singing about, like, the cold and all this type of stuff. And so this was a cool project that we did for school. The quality is really bad because this was all on a regular camcorder with tape and then had to do it with a capture card. I remember like he and I shared a camera. So it was my camera. I bought it on eBay, I think, and I would lend it to him. And so he could like take it home and then have his brother film stuff. Oh, there's my first ever back foot varial heel or semi flip, depending on how you want to look at it. I recorded that from a tripod in my bedroom, like watching down on the driveway. But so this was the struggle, and this is why it's like a sad and slow song, because you would try to shovel, you would try to salt, and then you'd have to sweep away the salt so you could skate, and you would hope that it would dry enough that you could skate before it snowed again, and that wasn't always the case. So there were times, there's my old fishtail board from the 80s. I don't know whatever happened to that thing. Probably got sold at a garage sale or something. But so like this is what skating was like in the winter. And so there were times when Tony would come spend the night, and like we would schedule this in advance, and it might just snow the whole time, and you don't have a choice. Sometimes you'd get lucky, and we would be able to find a dry patch to go skate. There was a hospital nearby. That might be where we're going in this clip. I don't remember. Or no, this is So we got desperate. I'll tell you about the hospital in a minute, just to find dry pavement. So we go to the baseball diamond and find a dugout, and we have like literally a few square feet. So there's me doing a fan flip. I'm holding onto the bench, although I'd pretend that I wasn't. We would go such lengths to try to find a place to skate, and this was like gold. We struck gold finding this tiny little spot, and just had to do whatever we could do to try to do tricks there. It'd be so cold that your hands barely even work. Okay, and back at the skate park. So there was this hospital that was between my town and his, and when me and him weren't old enough to drive yet, that was where we would do the handoff. So his mom would drive there, my mom would drive there, and whichever one was at whoever's house would go back home. And they had it was this tiny little concrete pad that had like a awning over it. So it was 80 square feet or something like that, really small. And we would go there just because it was the only place that would be dry. And luckily I say hospital, and it's technically a hospital. It was like an urgent care. It was like a hospital back in the day, and I don't know, whatever. It was just half abandoned hospital. But yeah, we'd try to make the best out of skating on ice, which was cool. And I was trying to get into like doing shifties and do like more street style stuff in freestyle, which is there's a spot that's at the hospital right there. I don't know if I show enough of it, but like you're seeing the whole thing basically. And then there's a curb, and then you get to the parking lot, which was always wet or snowy. But this is the stuff we dealt with. And this is mainly the reason I moved to Colorado, not for skateboarding per se, but just for having to deal with this type of stuff all the time. For 4 months at least, you have to deal with this. You'd wake up in the morning, have to go to work, and you go out there and you realize that there's a fresh foot of snow that you didn't expect, and you go scrape off your car. Oh, I hated that stuff so much. The nollie tray. Oh, check out this hard flip. So I land with my back foot toe down. That still happens. I've talked about that fairly recently, where like if I just try a hard flip, I'll land it, but I'll land it like that. Like same way, 14 years later. Okay. Flash compilation is a compilation of my Flash videos. I have shown that on the channel. I'll link to it so you can check that out. It'll look better than it does if I play a DVD of it, and you'll be able to hear the sound because there's music over it this way. But the last bonus feature today is a day's work. And so this is with my newer camera, so it looked a little bit better. And I believe this was just all shot in a day. We had a very productive day, so we made just a little video about this one day. So yeah, there's that terrible skate park. They ended up making a new, paving a new area to put it on instead of an old tennis court, and they didn't make it flat. So like you could only, so like I was saying how the ramps are the same size as the fun box in the middle. But since the whole thing was at an angle, you could almost skate it one way because you got a little speed boost from it being downhill. Trying to go the other way though was pretty much impossible. So like, yeah, that skate park, oh, I hated it so much. So here's my super cool. I got my Hawk shorts on, doing a 720 to fakie. Thought that was so cool to do a spin and come back down to fakie. Oh yeah. So Tony and I and his brother Ryan, we had a cartoon. This is some random girl he went to school with, by the way, that we met up with that day. She was standing in the background when he ollied over that sidewalk gap thing. But we had a cartoon character named Banjo Bob, and he would do like all these fake. See, I was telling you, like we just ran into a million girls this day. Where he would do all these fake products, so it would be like an obvious scam, but we would draw it out like a cartoon ad for whatever product it was, and you'd see like all the ways he's trying to rip you off, like it's only 5 payments of $100, but the 5 has a footnote. It's like 500 payments per month, like all that type of stuff. Right here, I'm saying because I sprained my ankle, Tony's going to try to hurt himself just as bad. So yeah, like he would just try stuff like that, and gave it a couple tries, got hurt enough, and whatever. He didn't come back or anything. But yeah, there's the old chiropractor again. You'll see like 3 different spots throughout the whole thing because there just weren't any. And look at what that pavement is like. It's terrible. So we find one and he hits a rock as I say that. So yeah, one parking lot that's kind of decent. Oh, I can probably play the audio here. I don't think there's anything going. Well, I thought I could, but apparently it didn't record the actual audio. I'm just telling the kid to like do a backflip, and then I say we better get out of here before we're liable for something. So that was the Antidote. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a follow-up to From a Land Far Away from 2005. This one did not get a official cover. This one, I might watch it myself just for nostalgia's sake, and maybe rip it because I don't know if I have a digital copy of this. But yeah, that was all recorded on a giant camera like this, and there's like a full-length basketball game in the middle of my friends playing, and I have a 40-foot extension cord running to the backyard and filming and recording it on this camera. I doubt this one actually holds up at all, but that was our original production. And then the one after that was called Los Dos Bandidos. This one is pretty good, I believe, from what I remember of it. I might do this one in the future, but this one has a ton of special features and all kinds of other stuff. It's also a little heavier on the music, so it might not translate as well to doing a voiceover version. But remember how I said that so From a Land Far Away, it was called that because we were sending this to Tony's aunt and uncle, and they lived all over the country and traveled in different countries and stuff. So it was far away because we were in Michigan and they were wherever they were at the time. I think they lived in Washington or something like that. So they had a lot of their friends from different places in the world write us postcards to talk about how good the video was. The friends never saw it. They just, called people and said, hey, write a postcard and send it to this address. And so we put some of the reviews on the second video, and I'll read some of these for you. True talent at work. Great filming, effects, and music from Unknown in Canada, because they didn't sign it. I'm your biggest fan. You guys have sweet skills, Caitlin in Canada. Your video changed my life. My home country of Uganda wants to name a day after you, Kristen in Washington. I was amazed by your talents, Georgina, Washington. Votre vidéo est très impressionnante, très intéressante. Dana from Canada. Your video is very impressive, very interesting, is what that says. Wow, awesome movie. I'm your #1 fan, Megan. Want to see more, Trish. So, like, how old were we when we started getting this? Like 17, and we're getting all these postcards from girl names that are very impressed by us. And we didn't know why, was the thing. So there was one, I don't think it made the back of it. Someone said that they like put it in the Banff Film Festival in Canada or something like that. And we were just getting these postcards of people that were blown away by how good we are, and we don't know who they are or where they came from. So I saw Tony's aunt at a wedding recently and asked her about it 14 years later. It's like, oh yeah, we just called a bunch of people and had them send you postcards. So yeah, maybe we will do this one in the future when I have some more free time. Yeah, that was the Antidote. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.